Welcome in to a DNVR Avalanche Emergency Podcast as Martin Necas has officially signed with the Colorado Avalanche. He got the full boat, pretty much. $11.5 million AAV for 8 years, a $92 million deal that includes a full NMC with the Avs. AJ, initial reaction?
I talked about 11.5 yesterday when we had this exact conversation, being like, that's a number that makes me uncomfortable, so it's probably the right area for it.
Yeah.
There
it is. Yeah.
I think it's probably the right area for it. We were really hoping it was going to be more, from a team perspective, we were hoping that it was going to be more like 10.5, 10, but the way that he started the year and the way that the cap has gone up and the way that the market has kind of exploded over the last 6 months. We were being a little optimistic there, but at least we knew we were being optimistic. And It was important for Necas to feel like he got a little bit of love and he got some security, $60 million in bonuses. That's nice. That's also even on top of the NMC. That's also trade protection because that makes you a lot harder to deal. They're not signing this deal with the intention of someday moving him, though. This is all about what Martin Necas can do for the Avalanche and their hope that he can help them win a Stanley Cup.
That is got to be the objective, because let's not kid ourselves. That is a lot of money. That is a significant sum of, if not money, your cap hit committed to any player. Now, it's not more than Nathan MacKinnon. It's not going to be even in the realm of Cale Makar's next contract, but it is certainly a big price to pay. We look at some of these other contracts that get signed. The Kyle Connor one at $12 million. Necas does come just under that. There is still going to be a significant amount of expectation levied onto Necas for a contract like this, though. When you make this type of money, you have to go out and perform every single night for the Colorado Avalanche, right?
Yeah. And to his credit, it's only 11 games, but so far this year he has. So that's, it's good. I'm strangely subdued about this because, one, I was very confident that this was going to happen. I said as much yesterday. So I'm not, I don't have I just was not afraid that he was not going to sign. The relationship between him and the team was good. Their talks over the summer were productive. It felt like everybody kind of felt good about, all right, we both want to get this done. I think we're going to find us a spot that we want to be in. And when Logan Cooley got $10 million, I think the Avs probably had to be like, all right, we have to let this go.
It's time to get this done. Yeah.
You don't want to, you really, I think that there had to be some sort of a fear of Buffalo doing something downright irresponsible with Alex Tuch, because they have to pay the Buffalo tax, but other teams and other agents are going to look at that and go, oh, I don't care about that, right? Like they're like, oh, well, Alex Tuch's going to make whatever he's going to make. Adrian Kempe, those are the two big names that are still out there. Artemi Panarin, another guy that is they're all licking their chops now.
There, but
but they're all licking their chops there, going, okay, Necas got that, But with Necas, 26 years old right now. He's 20. He turns 27 in January. A lot of these other guys that these teams are looking at, they're 29, 30 years old already. So, more on more on the back half of their prime, getting into the aging. You're worried about the aging curve, and with Necas, you're really not worried about that. Like, you really feel good.
Yeah. A $2 super chat from Ryan, who says, could have had him for 10 5 months ago. I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think if he would have signed for 10, the Avs probably would have done it.
Also, they weren't allowed to sign him 5 months ago.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to sign until July 1st.
Yeah, July 1st
would have been 3 months ago. But
I guess
4 months
really
ago. Fair enough.
Picking some nits here, but
I think it was a pretty clear conversation that Nate just made a bet on himself and also waited for a handful of these dominoes to fall within the not free agency or class, but names like a Kyle Connor, names like a Kirill Kaprizov. He was waiting on these guys. And
we talked about it all summer. He should wait.
That he did.
Be his approach.
He came out and scored 13 points in 11 games, and he's probably earned himself an extra $500K to $1 million with the start of the year that he had.
Probably made the Avalanche a little more comfortable, where they were like, all right, like, this is the guy that, like, this is who he is. We're cozy here.
Yep.
Like, let's get this done before he goes out and drops a 50-goal season or some nonsense, like something like wild takes place. I think the Avalanche wanted to get it done earlier, but Nate just wanted to wait because, one, he wanted the market to play out, and he wanted to have a good start to the season. He absolutely bet on himself. He rolled the dice a little bit that he wasn't going to have one of those out of the gates, glacial starts. Yep. But now it has to continue.
Yep. Necas, for his time in Colorado, 41 games, 41 points, 18 of those points being goals. He's playing the most time on ice he's ever played in his career here in Colorado. His career stats, 339 points in 452 games. AJ, I'm sure you have some of the advanced stats we can get into as well, but make no mistake, the version of Martin Necas the Avs are getting, and the one that they're paying for, is a guy who needs to produce every single night.
Every single night. You're allowed to have like one game a week where it's like, oh, that wasn't great.
Yep.
But even a week is probably too much. One game every 2 weeks. Because you're playing next to Nathan McKinnon. The expectations are that you give them one goal every night. As a line, you give them one goal. That's even strength. That's power play. Whatever. You need to be a part of one goal every single night.
Yep.
That's a different world. This is not, oh man, I'm really just trying to get out there and, whatever. He needs to score. He needs to help facilitate goals every single night.
There's a conversation to be had here about the playoffs, and Nate just has taken a lot of criticism for his poor play in the playoffs. And if you go back into the earlier parts of his career, there are some years where he had some pretty down playoffs.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked ad nauseum about the last series the Avs had, where if anybody scores one more goal, the Avs probably win that series pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get that goal. But with that being said, over the last 2 years, Necas in the playoffs, it's 18 games played and 14 points, which isn't, oh my God, he's so good in the playoffs, but it is not anywhere near as bad as I think sometimes it gets made out to be with Necas.
Yeah, it's not. Before that, his 4 seasons in the postseason before that, he had 48 games played and 21 points, which is a 36-point pace across a full season.
Not great.
So yeah, it wasn't great, but he was still figuring it out. Now his postseason pace over the last 2 years is more like a 63-point player. You want more than that. Like him having 5 points in 7 games is a little deceiving because I think he only played, or I think he only scored points in 3 of those games.
Yeah, and 2 of the games he didn't score in were pretty rough for sure.
Yeah, but there were some not good games. But the Avalanche also, Jake Ottinger was really good in that series.
Yeah.
And that hurt a lot of numbers. Hurt Brock Nelson's numbers. The post really hurt Brock Nelson's numbers. So like,
sure did.
There were, it's not a train wreck. You're not looking at him in the postseason and saying, oh my God, he's never been a playoff performer. This is not what Nikolai Ehlers was in Winnipeg, where there were multiple years where you were like, this guy hasn't even this guy's not doing anything. This is not doing anything.
Right.
At least the last 2 years, you can look at his numbers and say it's getting better. And when you compare that directly to his regular season production, and you compare that to the underlying numbers for what he's generating offensively, it's going up and up and up a little bit every single year. So,
and this is a guy who should be hitting his prime now.
Right now. Last year should have been the opening of that prime. The production says, yep, that's exactly what it was. The start that he's off to this year, yep, that's exactly what it looks like it is. You have to feel really good about it.
All right, we do need to take a quick break here as we are presented by Bet365, and you can get yourself into the official vehicle of the DNVR Avalanche, which is Toyota. They're also official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. So make sure you're jumping in. They've got a vehicle for everyone, whether it be 17 all-wheel drive vehicles or 16 different low or zero-emission hybrids. Martin Necas certainly has the money to go get himself a new Toyota. I'll put it to you that way. You can get that done. But whatever it is you're looking for in a new vehicle, go get yourself with Toyota. Again, an official vehicle of DNVR, and you can find them at your front range Toyota stores, including AutoNation Toyota, Rathbones, Centennial, Corn Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, let's go places. And once you got yourself a Toyota, it's a great vehicle to get yourself up into the mountains so you can get yourself skiing. But to go skiing, you need skiing equipment, and that is where Christie Sports comes into play. You can jump in with Christie. If you're a local, you probably know about them. I've been a skier my entire life, and we used to use Christie all the time to rent our skis. And the coolest part about Christie is that you can rent your skis for the entire season. You don't have to do the hassle of it. You just rent it at the start of the year. You have them. You go up and ski with them a bunch of times, and it's that straightforward. You don't even have to worry about any of the nonsense of getting up there and it being a problem. You just have your skis for the season. And cool part is it really only takes 5 times going skiing for the skis to pay for themselves. It's super easy, super straightforward with Christie Sports. So make sure you're going and checking them out. There's a link down in the description, which you can use to get yourself over to Christie Sports and get yourself those seasonal rentals. You can use code DNVR20 at that link to get 20% off your season rentals. Of course, you must book the rentals online, and you have to book by November 23rd. But outside is better with expert service and advice in every store with Christie Sports. All right, keep this conversation going with Marty Necas. AJ, do you want to get into the numbers, or should we keep digging into Necas's fit in Colorado?
Tiff, are we ready? Because if we're ready, then let's start. I don't care which one. This is a great place to start. As I was mentioning, so this is what the graph on the left side. This sucks for the audio listeners. I'm so sorry, but driving play 6% better than the average player in the NHL. You'd like that number to be a little bit higher. 2% plus 2% on defense. That's bad, but he's bad defensively. None of these are secrets. We know all of this. What I really like though is this one on the right side here. You can see
the left circle, baby.
he has been on a big time rise over the last couple of seasons. Where does that cap out playing alongside Nathan MacKinnon? Because it could get a little bit better. It is not unreasonable to think that he could be in line for a 100-point season, 30 goals, 30 plus goals. Like this is the kind of guy that we're talking about as this could be a true star player here. And I don't know that he'll ever be I don't know that we'll ever call him a superstar in his own right, but sure, like the perfect high-end complementary player next to Nathan MacKinnon, that I think like the perfect Robin to his Batman.
Yep.
And that's $11.5 million per year is a lot of money to pay for a really good sidekick, but he's really good. And I just don't think that we should overlook that reality. He's really good. And we've seen it at the start of this year. There have been games where he's been their best player on that first line where he's rocking and rolling, and you're going, okay. I mean, yeah, obviously Nathan MacKinnon is amazing, and Arturi Lehkonen is the perfect glue guy for them. But this is a guy that has found his game in a big way, and he's found a perfect fit in Colorado.
It's his style of hockey that it does not take a lot of staring at to see how it works so well in Colorado's current system. He jumps right in and adds that element of driving play north that Colorado cannot get enough of in their game. And certainly this year, his ability to finish pucks has been much appreciated here in Colorado. I mean, he's shooting 31% or something insane this year. That's not going to continue, but just the ability to finish the puck at that level at all is something that the Avs needed in that role, and they're getting it out of Necas. So
big time.
I'm going to ask this question. I know what I would do, but it's one that's going to continue to come up. Necas and McKinnon, should they be tied together at the hip?
I don't think you have to say tied together at the, like, you don't have to be married to the idea of it, but I wouldn't mess with it until it at 5v5 and 4v4. I'm not going to mess with it. Put them and let them play together. Yeah. At 3v3, stop. Don't do that.
Indeed.
But the others, yeah, I would play them together.
I'm just not going to be that pressed about 3v3 situations that don't happen that often.
And especially, I especially think that we look at the chemistry that Brock Nelson and Val Nichushkin have started to build over the last handful of games when Gabe Landeskog's
really
been moved down
together. Yeah.
And you're like, the idea of putting Necas down there was about trying to give them more of a playmaking element, a more dynamic element, but they're doing okay with it. It's brought out the best in Brock Nelson. Val Nichushkin just keeps rocking and rolling. He's moving right along, right? So you have to feel really good about them playing together moving forward.
Yeah. I don't see why there would be any reason you're particularly worried about it. $2 from our Moisters who says, what's the cap percentage? That makes it seem better to me. Cap percentage is just a shade over 11%.
11.06.
Yep. So not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but this is not some astronomical contract that is blowing things out of the water.
No, you're paying first line money for a first line player.
Yep.
Like
this is just the new normal for first line guys in the NHL.
Yeah, and I think when you saw like Logan Cooley's getting $10 million coming off of an ELC, I think that's the third highest ever coming off of an ELC. Like, that these numbers are about you give this 3 years and 11.5, you're going to be like, I'm not even blinking at this anymore.
Yep.
I think there's sticker shock, one, because this has happened really quickly. With how fast the salaries have gone up, but two, the cap has exploded the way that it has. It was flat for so long that we just got very comfortable for like a 4 or 5 year period. We got very comfortable with what the salary band was for high end guys. And now it's getting reset on the fly. And this is part of it. I'm fine. I nitpick everything. So 11.5 million, it's 500K too much for me. But how often do I say that? It's every contract is 500K too much for me because I'm cheap.
Look, is it 500K too much? Yeah, I think you could even make an argument it feels like $1 million too much. However, giving $1 million too much to your best players is a little bit different than giving $1 million too much to a third or fourth line guy, because the reality of the NHL is you're going to live and die with your top guys regardless of what you're paying them.
This is a great point. And a lot of teams sink because they spend bad money in that $3 to $5 million range.
Yeah.
You look at where Colorado's money is being spent right now. Their $3 to $5 million guys are Josh Manson, who's
he's been.
You could have a good argument there, and Ross Colton and Arturi Lehkonen.
Lehkonen obviously a steal.
Yeah, and Ross Colton I think is
a little up and down. Yeah,
Ross Colton I think is perfectly paid. Like
I would say that's fair. Yeah.
Perfectly fair. He's making max money for the type of player that he is, and the Avs feel very comfortable with it. And that I think it's a great point by you, because if you pay a little extra for those guys at the top of your roster, you can live with it. You just can.
Yep. You kind of have to a certain extent. I do want to get back to Marty stats, but since we're in the contract conversation, first of all, $5 from Banks, who says everybody loves a Marty party because a Marty party lasts 8 years. The Avs do get the 8th year, or rather Marty gets that 8th year, however you want to look at it. It is the full contract length while you can still do that. Looking at next year, just to look at the contract conversation and the Avs cap projections, the Avs are already committed to spending just shy of $88 million next year with Necas' deal. That means they have a cap space next year of around $16 million as it currently stands.
Yeah.
Then they will have,
right.
Yeah, it's like $3 million less than that because of Brent Burns' money. So it's really like $13 million.
It's really $13 million, but you look at the roster and you look at the guys that they need to sign: Jack Drury, Gavin Brindley, Zakhar Bardakov, Kivi Ranta, Olofsson, Sam Malinsky, Brent Burns, Ilya Soloviev, Scott Wedgwood.
It's a bottom 6 forwards and bottom 40.
Yes, guys that you can find replacements for. And the Malinsky Burns ones, we'll talk all year long about exactly how you replace those guys and what that looks like, what they're worth, those things. Those, I think, are your harder contracts. Olofsson is probably going to play himself out of Colorado, going to price himself out with such a great season.
Certainly seems like it, yeah.
But Gavin Brindley, Zakhar Bardakov, those are like RFA deals. Those will be really cheap, $1 million level contracts. If even
Jack Drury's an RFA, and not going to be in the same tier of payment, but is one you can manage the money on.
Yeah, and that's Jack Drury's probably right now. I'm kind of earmarking it right around $3.5 million.
Yeah,
roughly in that range. So they're fine. They're not trying to figure out your backup goaltender and your depth positions are pretty much all you're worried about spending that money on next year.
Yep.
So and this keeps them where they are, and a lot of guys are unsigned, but 2 years out, you look at a Makar contract, they have $48 million in cap space for 2027. And that is with that's with a $113 million deal, Lehkonen, but Makar, you're okay, Makar's going to get 15 of that. I think you just 15
at least,
just earmark 15 and say, I don't really know where I'm going to go from there, right? And then a Lehkonen deal. I honestly have no idea what they should pay Artturi Lehkonen on his next contract. Truly, he'll be 32.
It's so hard to judge. Yeah,
he'll be 32. He's already physically slowed down. His skating has slowed down so much over the last couple of years that you're like, are you really going to give that guy $6 million? I don't know. These are all future conversations. Today is really about Necas, but a big part of this is this contract does not stop them. This doesn't put them in any kind of bind in the future. They're comfortable. They can pay Makar easily. They're not sitting here pressed up against it. They can pay him. They're fine.
Yeah, I agree. And the Avs are never going to put guys like Makar's contract in jeopardy with this deal. That just the reality is, if it came down to Necas or Makar, they were choosing Makar, but it just wouldn't have mattered. There's no amount of money with what the salary cap is doing right now that Necas could have really caused a problem for Makar. Auxiliary pieces, you can have a conversation of maybe this prices out bringing back a Ross Colton level player or something like that.
Yeah.
Other side of it is, if the Avs wanted to, there's a decent chance they could YOLO their backup goalie next year for awfully cheap. But
it's going to be Ilya Nabokov, so
right on an ELC. So
we know what that number is. It's whatever his number is, $975K. YOLO'd. We're good.
Go.
So, and Sam Girard in 2 years, that his contract is up. Ross Colton is up. Some unknown numbers there, but none of these are going to be such significant raises that you're like, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
I saw from Toyota Chat somebody asking about signing bonuses affecting the cap hit. It doesn't. It's just how he gets paid.
The actual physical money is the only thing that changes when it comes to a signing bonus. when that
So it
money gets
doesn't
paid out to the player.
it does not change. Oh my God, his signing bonuses are something else on this
It's
deal.
outrageous.
Yeah, he has a lot of signing bonuses. Those get paid out on July 1st of every year.
Yep.
And when I mentioned earlier that it might make him harder to trade, it's because if you have signing bonuses at the back end of the deals, teams don't want to like
pay the
they
actual
don't want to trade for a guy and
$10 million
then
signing bonus for a guy.
exactly. If all of the signing bonuses are paid out and a guy is only making $1 million in salary or something, it's much easier. Okay, yes, you take on the cap hit. That's one part of it. But the actual cash paid can be a lot lower than that.
Yeah.
It makes him easier to move at the end of deals. Now, we're talking about moving a guy.
He also has an NMC anyway, so he only moves if he wants to. Like,
he's had the contract signed for like 90 minutes, and we're talking about trading him at some point. Like, this is why we're all monsters.
This is the opposite of. Yeah.
I don't think that we're in that headspace. It just is what it is, right? One thing I do want to ask you, I am super curious about this. Is Marty Necas going to do a reverse Rantanen here? It's the only time I'm going to bring him up in this pod, where Mikko looked like he was headed towards retired jersey status. He was going to be an all-time great. You know, he was going to go in what should be the Garden of the Gods, out in front of the arena. Like, it looked like he was going to be one of those guys for the franchise. That's all respect to everything that he accomplished, but I think that we're not talking about him retiring his jersey here anymore. Is this going to be a guy, or is this the last guy that wears 88 in Avalanche history?
Ask me in 6 years.
No, I'm asking you right now. Damn it. I'm asking you right now. Is this a reverse Rantanen? Is this a guy that's going to get here a little bit later, but if they win 2 cups and he has multiple 100-point seasons and he's amazing for the rest of his contract?
If they do that, easy. This is an easy retirement if they win 2 cups and he's a key component of that. It's not even close. I think if they win one cup, you're probably having that conversation, because part of the reality is you don't win another cup without Martin Necas being really good.
Absolutely. But Mikko won a cup here and we're not talking about it. He has to be Necas has to be phenomenal for probably 6 of the 8 years, and they have to win probably 2 cups, I think.
Yeah, I think you could do it with 1. And part of this conversation, if we're doing the Mikko comparison thing, is there's always. I know I'm not comparing the players, like their actual ability. That you can't do that. I know they were traded for each other, but it's more complicated than just this player, that player. There's a lot more that goes into that than that. But there is the personality clause that always comes in with these things, whether it's making the Hall of Fame or getting a number retired. And the way Mikko left will always leave a scar in Colorado Avalanche. Like, however you want to blame it. I know different people look at it different ways. They can blame the Avs or they can blame Mikko or whatever, but there's always going to be some bad feelings there. Necas, who is now locked in for Colorado for essentially the rest of his career, already going out there and getting quoted as saying he wants to be here. This is his home. Mm-hmm. He wants to win a Stanley Cup and help them bring a Stanley Cup back here. Mm-hmm. He's setting himself up to be that guy. Now he has to go out and play to the level that is worthy of a jersey retirement. But it's guys find their way to jersey retirements who deserve it, right? When you have the big moments, when you step up, and Necas will never be the face of this franchise, but he will be. If things go well, history is going to remember Marty Necas as Nathan MacKinnon's running mate, not Mikko Rantanen.
All right, I'm with it. Frankly, if they win 2 more cups, then like Devon Taves is getting his number retired.
Yeah, a lot of dudes are getting retired.
A few other guys, like this team.
Mackenzie Blackwood might be in that conversation.
Oh my God! I mean, now we're just retiring everybody. Now Marty Necas is signed, and we're talking about all these guys at the end of their careers. Let's get on to the next era of the Avs. We've already assigned them cups. This is great. No, I got to
go out and earn them.
Jokes aside, I really do think that he has that kind of potential. And
He does.
with Nathan MacKinnon in place, the infrastructure is there for him to be special in Colorado. And I think that had to be. He hasn't spoken yet. He's going to speak after practice. That's why Bailey's not on the show today, is because she's at practice doing all the actual work. I would be willing to bet he makes a point of it to say that playing next to MacKinnon and Makar and getting to play in this system in particular is a big reason why he wants to be here. His fit is a big part of it. We haven't really touched on that much. Just because I asked her to make it. Tiff, can you pull up these other two graphics for us?
I did want to get back to these.
Yeah, so this is just his player card. Obviously, this year is a little bit too soon. Jay Fresh is very smart, so he combines the years when we're dealing with small sample sizes, such as 11 games. But you're looking at all of this and you're saying, what more do you want other than it would be great if he was a little better on the power play, which, yeah, and he wasn't a terrible defensive player, because those are both true.
Yep. It's part of the game, but this is a guy that you're talking about truly in the upper echelons of offensive ability and play driving when it comes down to it. He can do everything you want on the rush in the offensive zone. Sure. If you want to have a conversation about power play ability, well, up until last game, you were having that conversation about every single Avs player. So
yeah. And I think there's one more, and because it dovetails right into what you're talking about in terms of how he is successful. And look at all of this. It's so strange that one of the elite skaters, the truly elite skaters in the NHL, you're looking at what does he do worse offensively? It's rush shots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
And it's not like bad, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's just not at the 90 percentile.
Right. You're telling me that he's in the 90th percentile in almost every one of these categories, every one of these micro stats.
Yep.
Unreal.
Pretty good. He's pretty good.
That's him producing off the rush. That's him producing off the cycle. That's him creating shots for himself and shots for others in all of the ways that you want to. It's all high danger. He's the guy that's the primary shot assist. Like, he's the one that's generating it. He's such a special creator of offense. And I will say, I do think that you and I have undersold him a little bit on this show in particular, because we're like, well, he's not like a superstar, but like, he's a really good player. And next to Nathan MacKinnon, like, history will remember him as Nathan MacKinnon's running mate, like, he's a really special creator of offense in his own right. Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Under his with his own merit, he has produced offense at a very high level. And again, him being 26 years old right now, I think that the next 4 to 6 years is the best that we're going to ever see out of Martin Necas. And after the contract that just got signed today, that means that's going to happen in Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, don't want to take anything away from him. Necas is probably a top 40 player in the NHL.
I would agree.
It's just, that's really, really good. That's a first liner that everyone in the league would absolutely love to have. He just happens to play on a team with 2 of the top 3 best players in the world. Like, it's hard to be number 1 when you are in Colorado with those guys. So, but I think Necas understands that too. Necas is a guy who will fill the role that the Avs need him to be. He won't try to be more than he is. He doesn't want that superstar attention or whatever you want to call it. Clearly he wants some because of the money he took, but he understands he's not guy number 1 on this team. He spent his whole career, not that Sebastian Aho is to the level of Nathan MacKinnon or anything, but he understands how to be guy number 2.
Yeah. And I mentioned this yesterday, that my psychoanalysis of him is that I think he is a guy that Bailey has talked a lot about his confidence in himself, but I also think that he's a guy that wanted to be loved by an organization.
Yep.
He, most of us go through life just wanting to hug every once in a while. And I think after things were tough for him in Carolina at the end, and this isn't me assigning blame, saying, oh, it was him, it was the team, it wasn't. Carolina has a notorious reputation that follows them around as being like hard in negotiations. But I really think that Necas wanted to be embraced by an organization that just said, you are very important to us. We are serious about this relationship. We want this thing to work. And now that it has, I'm feeling the optimism today that I think that we're going to see an even better level out of him, because now he knows he's safe. He's locked in. He's good to go. This is where he's going to be. He doesn't have to think about this really again in his career. He can just go be the best version of himself. He doesn't have anything to prove other than trying to get that jersey number retired.
That a quote from practice from Martin Necas, shout out friend of the show, Evan Rao, who tweeted this out. It's nice to see that trust from them and trust in me. And that's something new. Pretty much lines up perfectly with what you just said. So
tight. I didn't know that was a thing. Tight. It makes sense.
It does. It's, and I don't want, I know I mentioned this earlier, but regardless of usage in Carolina or what line he was on or all of that, he's come to Colorado and the Avs have immediately bumped up his playing time significantly. Mm-hmm. And part of this is just the way the Avs run their first line and the way Nathan MacKinnon gets used. The Avs really do pump that first line minutes up, but this is it. Necas is not going to get more playing time anywhere else. Necas is not going to find a better situation for himself anywhere else in the NHL. Most teams that have a player of that caliber don't have the room to sign Martin Necas. So the Avs stepped up, did what they had to do, and they've now locked in their top 6 for the next 2 years. Yes, that Lehkonen contract is coming up. But other than that, you have Brock Nelson for the next few years. You have Val Nichushkin for the next few years. This top 6 is now set.
But truly, it's so hard to imagine a world where he leaves. Artturi Lehkonen would not be an Av.
I don't see it. His career has blossomed here in Colorado. Yeah. So
and then you want to talk about an organization that loves a guy that is sending love towards a player there. That's it.
If nothing else, just to be, you have Nathan MacKinnon's running mate, and then you have Nathan MacKinnon's support human, right?
Right. Right. I always say it's the only person in the world that he likes, other than Sid, obviously, but there's a lot of like hero worship that goes into that. That's like a brother relationship. Lecky's just like, that's my guy. That's an adopted brother. They do saunas together.
The Finnish sauna. You always got to watch out for it.
Will it not, like, the least surprising thing is that 5 years after all these guys are retired, we're talking about their retirements again, that we're going to see like an Instagram post or whatever the social media platform is then of Nathan MacKinnon, Artturi Lehkonen, and Martin Necas like in a sauna in Finland somewhere.
With the Stanley Cup. Yep.
Oh, that's not even retirement. That's how they're spending the day
this
with the cup.
Season.
Yeah, that's sorry. I meant, can't you just see it in July when that happens? My bad.
I'm pretty good. Anything else you wanted to touch on with this, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to win the Stanley Cup this year, so Let's go. all of our pods for the rest of the season should just be hype shows.
I'm down to do that. All right. We're going to call this emergency pod. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more when we have Bailey and Justin on over the next couple of days.
Do you want to hear from Necas?
Yeah. Oh, do we have it? Absolutely. If we have it, let's play the thing. Yeah.
Roll tape.
I guess, Marty, just what are you feeling right now?
Yeah, super excited and happy that we got this done. And, I'm excited for the times ahead now. And, now I can just focus on playing hockey, winning hockey games, and do whatever it takes to bring a cup back here to Colorado.
How much does it mean to you to be able to stay in Colorado, call this place home?
Yeah, I think it's great, and it's going to be nice to finally settle in somewhere and have a long-term contract and just focus on winning and nothing else. So I'm super excited, happy that I can call this place home now, and it's a dream.
Go ahead.
You arrived here just over 9 months ago. What have you experienced here that made you so comfortable making such a long-term commitment here?
I feel like coming into this season, having the whole camp, being with the guys, feel like a real player of the Colorado Avalanche, and I've seen the things we can do on the ice, and I was like, sign me up. So it's good.
I know it's been in talks for a while, but were you surprised on the timeline of things, getting it done today?
No, we've been in talks for a little bit, and I knew it's getting close, and I'm happy that it's done. Now I don't have to worry about that, and just go out there and do my best.
Lots of talent in this group too. Getting to play next to a guy like Nathan MacKinnon for the next 8 years. I mean, how exciting is that for you?
I think it's great, and not just him and Cale, but the core group here is amazing, and I've been on a great team in Carolina, and being here, seeing how good the guys are here and how special this group is that was big part of why I signed here, and I want to be winning.
You said yourself that you modeled your game after Nathan MacKinnon when you were in Carolina. Did that play a factor in signing and re-signing with Colorado? Is the fact that you get to play with a guy that you've been looking up to?
Yeah, it's no secret. When I was in Carolina, obviously, looking up to the best players in the league, and he's one of them. So I was trying to modify my game to play a little bit like him and play with a high pace. Now we're playing together, so it's fun.
You said it yourself that you signed these shorter deals in your career, like 8 years. What does that mean to have an organization commit to you just on a personal level?
Yeah, it's nice to see the trust, from them, and trust in me, and that's something new. So, it's been real good this season. We had an unreal team here. Great people around, so I'm excited to play in front of the Avs fans for way longer now, and let's make everything possible and everything to bring the cup back here.
What do you love most about this organization?
Just paying attention to every detail. You have everything to you're basically here just to play. Everything else is taken care of, and being here for the full season for the first time this season is something that I learned that's kind of new to me, because last year feel weird after getting traded, but now it feels great, and I'm super happy that they gave me time to kind of figure out the things, and I'm super excited to be here.
Martin, is there a moment that you knew, with the last year after the trade or sometime during the summer, that you knew this was going to be the right fit, regardless of money or contract? Was there a moment that you knew that this was going to be the right fit?
Yeah, I think this team definitely fits my style of hockey and the way I play, and we have so many good players here, so it's great. It doesn't really matter who we play with, but at the end of the day, we've signed a great contract and we're not winning. It's tough, and that's why I feel like this team has a great future, bright future, and I want to be part of it.
Do you feel it was a smooth process to make this deal done?
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't super tough, and I'm glad the management gave me some time to figure out, and for me to decide where I want to basically spend my next 8 years of life, not just me, but my family as well. And I'm super happy, and I'll be happy to be here for eight more years and call this home.
Where were you when you found out that it was done?
It was this morning. This morning I signed it here before the practice, so it was pretty exciting. I knew it's coming, so last couple of days, obviously it was in my head. We were talking a lot, and it was nice to get it done.
Did you have a moment after you signed it, that's a lot of money? That's just. Did you have that moment this morning of, hey, I signed a big deal?
Yeah, I think obviously it's great to secure my family. Kind of give back to them for whatever they put in me when I was young, and just not just for me, but for my girlfriend, for my family. It's a big step forward, and I'm just super happy.
That was going to be my next thing. Is Nikki excited?
Yeah, for sure. He loves Denver, so that's great.
Have you been notified that the next team dinner is on you?
Yeah, I think that's no. I expect nothing else. So I'm good with that.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right. Marty going to be paying for a few dinners. Yeah, after that. In 26-27, Necas at present would be the 13th highest paid player in the NHL. I expect a couple more deals might knock that down a couple, but call him a top 20 paid player in the NHL. Is Necas ready to be a top 20 player in the NHL?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think that this is his time. It's the prime of his career. If not now, it's never. That's it. This is it. I mean, he's been working his whole life to be in a situation like this. He's got the financial security and the contract security. He doesn't ever have to think about this again. I think he's fine. Like this is it. Like, I think we're going to see the best we're going to see of Martin Necas over the next 36 months.
The money's at the Marty party. That's all I got. Any final thoughts, AJ?
I could just keep talking about this all day. It would just be a hype show, though. So let's get out of here.
All right, we'll wrap this up. Again, you'll hear from Bailey and J Mike and the rest of the crew, I'm sure, over the next couple of days. So keep it here. Like and subscribe to us at DNVR Sports. If you like what we do, show us a little bit of support. We will be back tomorrow with our usual game day shows. Thought it was an off day, but Marty said no. We appreciate you. This has been the DNVR Avalanche Emergency Podcast for the Marty Necas signing, and we'll see you later.
We all silly like the mayor.